Action.
So what I'm demonstrating here is the NT loop, hip resisted, Romanian deadlift. Now it's a pretty standard exercise, but there's a couple small details I want to go over with you to make sure you do it properly, and they're not necessarily intuitive. First off, aside from the NT loop setup, you want to make sure you have good technique when you do a Romanian deadlift. So let's talk about that first. Feet, they're about shoulder width apart. You could use a dumbbell for this. I'm using a kettlebell. You want to hinge at your hips. Minimal knee bend, about 15 to 20 degrees if you want some specifics there, so hardly any knee bend. Hinging at my hips, even though my back is bent over, angle-wise, I want to keep my back straight, so I don't want to do that. And then at the top is really where the band benefits, where if I wasn't using the NT loop, I wouldn't get the same benefit. If I didn't have the NT loop there, I don't have any tension pulling my hips back, my glutes aren't really working. My glutes are working down here without the NT loop, but not up here. With the NT loop, they are. So you're getting more effective range of motion when you use the NT loop here. So you want to drive the hips forward at the top. So it's all about hips back as far as possible, hips forward as far as possible. But I'm never leaning on the band. It's not holding up my body weight. All my weight is always on my own feet. Now let's talk about proper setup, getting in and out of this. First off, you notice that we have it hooked to the carabiner, the anchor strap, and that red strap is just a utility strap that you can get from any climbing store. You don't have to have one of those. You can just use a single NT loop wrap, and you still have plenty of distance of the band to work with there. Now, in regards to how high you want to have the band set up or anchored, I would say anywhere between your knee and your hip height is pretty good. Give or take. That's slightly lower than my knee, but mid-shin still works. So you have some room to play there. Now, when you're getting into it, you don't have to make the mistake of holding the band fairly tight like this and having to step in. Look, it's long. Let it hang like this. See that? And then just walk in. Now, this is important. I actually don't have the band around my waist. I have the NT loop slightly below. Here are my hip bones, right there. Here's where I have it. Why? Because that's directly against the tension I want. That's number one. Number two is because I'm going top down, if I have this high and I go bend over like this, what's the band going to do? It's going to flip down there anyway. So get it set up to where the tension is right where you want it, right against that action. And that way it stays in place. It's going to maybe adjust a little bit as it needs. So anytime I'm going top down, torso to the floor, you want this below your hip bones. When you're done, just walk back, grab it on one side, let the other one hang down, step right on out. There you go.